Hey guys, today I am doing the book reading habits tag, and I was tagged by the wonderful Lisa, and I will leave her channel down below if you would like to go and check her out, because she makes some pretty cool videos. And now I'm just gonna start and do this baby right now. First question, do you have a certain place at home to do reading? I would say the majority of my reading gets done in my bed, which is right there. Can't see it, but I can. That's probably where I do the most of my reading. Yeah, because it's comfy. Number 2 is bookmark or random piece of paper. Actually, it's probably more of a random piece of paper. I really need to get some bookmarks because I don't have very many. But it also has to do with kind of whatever is around me. If I don't have anything set aside, I will use something really random. Like all the time I'll put like my keys in there or my phone or whatnot for like if I have to go do something or anything. Or a lot of times I'll just use like a napkin, or I'll just rip a piece of paper and put it in there. So, more a piece of paper. But I'm definitely not a dog-earing person. Like those people who dog-ear pages. And I just can't handle that. My books need to stay beautiful, and I'm not folding those pages. Never. Never, never. Can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter? After a chapter, honestly, I can't just stop in the middle of like a sentence. Unless for some reason someone's like, "Okay, I need you right now," and I'll be like, close book, okay, I am here. But usually I'll be like, oh, just a minute, let me finish this chapter. But if it's something in which I have to, then obviously I'm going to stop it. But I try not to, because I have to stop somewhere. But then I always get to the end of the chapter and I'm like, wait, I need to read the next one now. But yeah, definitely usually the end of the chapter. Do you eat or drink while reading? Yes, because I eat and drink all the time. So I still do that when I read. I'm obviously careful not to like get stuff on my books because I like to keep my books pretty and immaculate. But yes, I don't let books keep me from eating and drinking. I still do that. Multitasking while reading, like music or TV? Yes, all the time. I listen to music while I read all the time. And I watch things and read all the time. Because if my family or like my brother and my sister-in-law are like watching a movie, I will go over and I will watch the movie with them and read at the same time sometimes. Usually this works best when it's a movie I've already seen. Then I can't really do it when it's a new movie because then you just get lost and you don't pay attention. It's just too much. But I definitely do multitask of like TV and watching stuff. One book at a time or several at once? I used to be just one book at a time, and I never understood how people have multiple, but recently I've been doing multiple at a time, and it's different, and it depends. Like, if I'm reading maybe a bigger book, or a book that I think is best to read over a period of time, I will read several books during the same period of which I'm reading that one maybe big, more in-depth book. And also, when I have a book that I'm having trouble getting into, I will be reading other books at the same time, because I'll try to start it, be like, oh, it's too difficult, I'm going to read this book that's really easy and that I enjoy. Then I'll go back and be like, oh, I'm trying to read you another book that's really easy and enjoyable right now. So it depends. Reading at home or everywhere. Mostly I read at home, but I definitely read everywhere too. Like, everywhere is good for me. Like, nowhere's gonna stop me from reading. If I'm going somewhere in which I have any time at all to read, I'm gonna be reading. Because reading is awesome. And that is why I'm here talking to you right now. Reading out loud or silently in my head? Definitely silently. I really don't like reading out loud. It's funny because I'm actually a pretty fast reader, but when it comes to reading out loud, it's like not as fast because I have to say the words out loud. It's not as fast, and I don't like reading out loud, and I don't like being read to out loud. Just like I tried audiobook the other day, and I really, really hate it. I had to stop, and I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna buy the book, even though I got that audiobook for free. I can't. I'm much more of a visual person. Well, that wasn't even the question, but that's what I started talking about. Anyways. Yeah, reading silently. That's the question. I prefer reading silently. Do you go ahead and read and skip pages? I would love to say no, but that would be a lie because I skip ahead all the time. All the time, and it's horrible. I shouldn't, but I am horribly impatient, And it's like I hate being spoiled, but I spoil myself all the time because I'm just too impatient and curious. Usually if I'm just flying through a book, I don't skip ahead. But if a book is maybe long or something and it hits kind of a dry or kind of slow part, and I'm just getting bogged down like, I will skip a few pages just to see kind of what's gonna happen, if anything good's gonna happen anytime soon. And then the next thing I know, I've like skimmed through the whole book and I just learned the ending. Done that so many times, it's not even funny. It's so horrible. I don't recommend that anyone ever does it, because don't spoil yourself that. And then sometimes I skip ahead just to get to it, like to see if anything good's gonna happen. Then I get to a good part and I just start reading. And I'll forget the fact that I skipped a whole bunch of pages, and I will read to the end and then be like, oh, I skipped the whole middle part of the book. So then I have to go back and read that, and it's just so... I really need to work on this thing called patience, guys, because I don't have it. And I need it because I spoil myself, and I make things worse than they probably would be. The worst, though, is when the ending of a book sucks, and you're like, should I really go back and read the book after I learned that this is so bad? Like, is there a point? Should I? I don't know. But then there are the times when you're like, oh my gosh, that ending, and then you go back and happily read it. But then you're a little disappointed because you already know the ending. But you do catch things that you wouldn't catch if you didn't know the ending. So, no, I don't recommend you do that, though. That's just me being impatient and curious, and don't do it. Don't do it. And you know what? Andrea, stop doing it. Stop doing it. Breaking a spine or keeping it new. Do people purposely break the spine? I don't get this question. Like, I guess if it happens over time, but like, do people just be like, hey, I'm just gonna wear this in? Definitely keep it like new. Like, I was having this conversation. I like my books to be immaculate and beautiful and like new, even if they aren't. If they have a little bit of love, I mean, that's fine. Like, if I've read a book a bunch of times and it shows, okay, I'm not going to get mad about that because that's from me reading it. But, like, I like to keep them as nice and as presentable as possible. Just because it's so pretty when they're so perfect, and then you can stare at them. And I'm getting so sidetracked with each question. But does anyone else do this? Sometimes I just sit and I just kind of stare at my bookshelves, and I just am like, those are so beautiful. Like, does anyone just admire their shelves sometimes? Because I do that. I look at it and I'm just like, oh, it's so pretty. It's so beautiful. And like, I'll say that to like one of my friends or family or something, and they're like, you're weird. Do any of you do that? Do any of you understand what I'm talking about? Or am I weird? I want to say that this is a normal thing, but I don't know. This next question I already explained. Do you write in your books? Noops, because I don't like to mark them up. If there are parts in which I want to remember either for reviewing or that I really like or whatnot, I will mark them, such like this. If you look at this, I have nice things all in here. A lot of these were for reviewing, and then a lot of them are nice, wonderful Kenji quotes that I'm in love with. So if I really want to mark something, I put it like that. I'm not much of a taking notes person while I read. I just like to read it. But sometimes when there's a really good quote or something, I will write it down. But I never highlight, I never underline, I never write. You can't ruin these babies. Honestly, these books are my babies, and I will not subject them to such torture, such as dog-earing pages and writing in them, and breaking spines. No. No, 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 no. Just like a parent, I will not let my children be abused. Alrighty guys, that is the end of that tag. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to tag 3 people. First, I'm going to tag Shannon from Leaning Lights. Second, I'm going to tag Quincy Carr. She is a new booktuber, guys. She has 1 video up. She just started. So I will link her below, and I will be tagging her. So if you want to check her out, that'd be so cool if you could. And number 3, I'm tagging Ryan O'Neill, which, Ryan, I'm really sorry because I've been tagging you in like everything I've been doing recently. So have fun as I push everything onto you. I don't feel that bad. So those are the 3 different people that I'm tagging. Check out their channels if you don't know who they are. And yes, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!